Today's show brought to you live from Lounge Media Group Studios. It's the Logistics Lounge. The views and opinions expressed on this show by its guests are not necessarily those of Lounge Media Group or the show host. So if you sue someone, make sure it's the party responsible for hurting your feelings. Also, grow up, be an adult, and understand not everyone thinks like you. And that's okay.
Yo, what's happening? What's crack-a-lacking, everybody? Welcome to another wonderful show of the Logistics Lounge, coming to you live from Lounge Media Studios in an undisclosed location deep in the heart of Texas. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Hope you're having a fantastic week. Freight is moving. People are making money. We're all alive and breathing. What more could you ask for except the winning numbers to the Powerball? I'm working on that. I promise I will not share it with any of you if I get it. But I will all take you out to a cheap steak dinner. All right, so what do we got going on this week? Let's see. John, TikTok Diner. Hope you guys watched his show yesterday. Really good segment he had on. And I don't know if y'all been catching a new segment that he's got going on with Shimmy and Kevin Bullock doing some other stuff. So those are pretty interesting things going on. Make sure you catch theirs. Things going on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and TikTok Diner on Tuesday. Let's see. We have no truck shows coming up for quite a while. Next one will be Old Town Rig Down. That's going to be in September 11th and 12th. And then we got Break Bulk. I don't know if anyone is going to Break Bulk in Houston. That is September 22nd, 23rd. That's going to be a good one. Going to go down there with my homie Adam Spencer. We're going to shake things up, meet some folks, hang out, just do whatever people, I don't know, do at Break Bulk. I'm just going to follow Adam's lead, so we'll see what's happening. Got a really great guest on here today. Big part of the lounge when we first started was freight fraud and theft. Really leaned hard on that because it was really gaining attention and traction when it first started this show. And, kind of trailed off with it, felt we said a lot about it, but, it just keeps rearing its ugly head, and it's never going to go away. And we're going to have to continue fighting it, continue to try to find a way to get around the bad guys. And, but most importantly, is try to prevent ourselves from ever being a victim of it. So, today, got a really great guest. Got Gianluca DiFranco. He's one of the founders of a cool company called FlexShield. So they're out there in their verification validation field, but they most people think of them as this thing is helping mainly brokers, but they're one of those ones out there. They like to mess with the carriers, shippers, brokers. They're trying to protect everybody out here. Got a few cool things that I think is different about a lot of the other companies out there. One, their stuff is human backed. So, when you send a report in, Gianluca and them, they got some humans that are actually going over things, making sure that all the I's are crossed and T's are dotted and everything looks dressed right. And they actually put their money where their mouth is, quite literally. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But FlexShield, Gianluca will have him up here in a bit. For that, we're going to get to some quick news. Really interesting stuff. I myself am going to enter in this. So let's see if we can win a semi for the Logistics Lounge. But let's get this news, everybody.
Lounge Media News, brought to you by AR Doc Pro and sourced from truckingnewshub.com.
If you want to win a brand new 1969 Kenworth, today is your lucky day. Pabst Blue Ribbon is working to fix up and give away an old school KW as part of its campaign promoting Pabst Light. In their press release that was given out this week, PBR says that PBR says that its Pabst Light beer will take ownership of a big rig semi truck, which will be fixed up by the explosively popular DIY automotive crew Big Time. This will be in time for a fall delivery to one lucky winner of a contest that they are running. The truck in question is a 1969 Kenworth 929. It'll soon be the center of the PBR advertising campaign and a multi-part YouTube series on the Big Time channel. Series will be posted throughout August and September. You could call this a ploy for attention, sure, but we're only doing it because Pabst Light is that good. There's nothing light about the flavor, which is why we found the heaviest thing we could to give away legally. And that is coming from Hannah Barnett, the brand director of Pabst Brewing Company. Finally, another quote: the car giveaways are pretty boring these days. Nobody actually wants a GT3 RS, speak for yourself, or some super foreign car, don't know who they're talking to. What they really want is a 60-year-old semi-truck, but that is also true, with a huge air horn. And that's from Jeremiah Burton, co-founder of Big Time, which is the folks that are building this truck. He goes on to say that they've never done a giveaway before, so they thought, why not partner with Pabst Light and have it be a one-of-a-kind, custom-built Kenworth? And so there they go. That's what they're doing. Pretty cool. Here's a picture of it on the screen. I don't know if I could zoom in on a little more for y'all. There we go. But it'll be posted up here in a moment, so everybody will be able to really go and see what it actually looks like up close. Really cool truck. Pretty interesting giveaway. It did not say in the article how to enter the giveaway. I really thought that it would. I was going to post that information, but I'm willing to bet if you go and search it up, you probably ought to find it. So there you go. That'll get you posted up here in about the next 10, 15 minutes. You can go and read the rest of it. It's got some more details about the truck and some of that stuff like that. But there we go. That's it. That's all I got. We're going to talk a little bit more of some news once I get my dude Giancarlo on here, specifically about some stuff that has to do with freight theft. Really, really interesting article. I think most people have already seen it, but we know there's some that haven't. So we're going to get into that. Without making you wait any longer, going to bring this man up. Going to talk about some freight fraud, some theft prevention tools, some tactics, maybe get some really cool stories. I don't know. Maybe Gianluca is like special forces in the freight fraud fighting task force or something. We just don't know it. So, but Here we are. Gianluca DiFranco with FlexShield.
On the track now.
Gianluca, what's up, man?
How we doing?
I'm great, bro. How are you?
Good. I didn't even know you did some background research on me. You had the soccer player going there.
Yeah, bro. Hey, Mike sent some stuff over, man. I hit every key. Mike said that you are a soccer fan, and you're a soccer and a sports fan, and you like EDM.
Man, he knows me.
There you go, bro.
That's pretty much all you need to know about me. We could pretty much end that the intro section of this.
Dude. And I love that, man. No one likes EDM anymore. I love EDM, bro. Like I've got a strong freaking EDM playlist, man. So yeah.
I feel like it's starting to pick up a little bit, but I mean I'm a little bit younger. You know, we might have a little bit of an older crowd in this freight industry, is what I've seen. But it might not be the EDM guys, but yeah, it's starting to pick up a little bit in my generation of people. But I've been following it since I was a kid, so I love the music. And traveling around, going to the concerts, you can't really beat it.
I know, man. Well, see, you know, when back when I got into EDM, you know, they were just raves. That's what you did, and it was hard. It was hard to get sometimes to get EDM music, man, because it wasn't like. It was all indie stuff, man. And, you know, a lot of people, when they put their tracks down, it was from a show that they did live. So unless you were able to get to their website and buy their CD or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, telling you, it was a whole thing back when I was young, bro, to get music. Like, you just couldn't go and click, click, click and have a song, man.
Way different now. But, I mean, EDM's so, like, broad, though, because now they have, like, country EDM and, like, they all, like, the different type of, like, beats and stuff. You got DJs making different genres of EDM. It's pretty cool. I mean, I enjoy it, but no, it's funny because Mike says that because I literally don't listen to anything else. Like a lot of people like this genre or this genre, I'm just strict EDM all day. If it's like a morning, I go to a little bit of a lighter, less aggressive EDM, but during the day, if I get after it, yeah, we got to
Dude, you have to drop me some playlists, bro. Okay.
Got anything you need on that side of things,
dude? I don't know. I listen to everything, but I've got a pretty good electronic music library. But I have two specific mixes. Then they're like both of them are 25 minutes long, and they're on Spotify. I don't think they do this anymore, but they used to have an EDM station, and every Monday morning for like 3 hours, they used to do a thing called Monday Mashups. And this DJ would just go fucking nuts, bro, for like 3 hours, man. And then he would drop like 20-minute segments of it. And dude, I love him. I'm going to send you this stuff. It's on Spotify. I'm going to send them to you.
Oh, it's crazy. It's a lot of these DJs, what they do, I forget who it was. I think it was John Summit or somebody. He did I think it was like a 10-hour set or something in Miami one time.
God,
I think he might have done, honestly, I don't know the exact number. He might have done like a 24-hour set one time.
Holy crap.
Go down. Like live in Miami and all those places down there, and they're literally just ripping it for hours and hours, and it's aggressive. I can't stay up that late, but
not me either. Too old, man. I'm too old. If I ever went to a rave now, like it'd have to be a rave from like 4 p.m. to like 9 p.m. because I got to be in bed by 10.
To go out anyways. You
yeah.
Go out for the day, and then you're in bed at a good, reasonable hour. You feel better the next day. That's the best case scenario.
Oh yeah, man. Oh, that's cool, bro. I love that. That's fine. That's cool, man. You guys are a DDO, man. That's awesome. All right, Gianluca. So, I guess we're gonna get things rolling here, man. I'd say we got a lot to talk about. This is a pretty heavy topic, man. You know what I'm saying? I feel it's something that you can talk about a lot. And you guys have already been on my buddy John Cantera's show. He's on the network here. So, again, you just talk about it forever because there's so many things in it that's changing all the time and all that stuff, and so many new approaches to things and scams and blah blah blah. With that said, who is Gianluca DiFranco, and how did you get to be the co-founder of FlexShield?
It's a great question, right? I've heard you ask it before, right? Let me go back to the intro a little bit. So, with the soccer background is weirdly how, this all started. Me and my co-founders, his name is James Milley. He actually owns freight brokerage here in Cleveland. And we met in college. We played soccer together at Cleveland State University, and he runs the freight brokerage. Me and him actually started a very small factoring company, and we were working together on that. And this all stemmed exactly from his freight brokerage because they got hit with, a double brokering scam, which, if you talk to a lot of people in this industry, I don't want to say everybody, but somebody has gone through some sort of scam in the brokerage area, some sort of double brokering, identity theft, something along those lines, right? And this all happened, while we were working on factoring company together. He discovered it. It was one fraudulent carrier, that ended up slipping through their system. They moved 5 total loads with them. Ended up being like a $17,000 loss to the company. Obviously the real carrier didn't get paid. These are all the issues that we're trying to fix in this industry. However, what we kind of realized was, okay, he got hit for $17,000 right out of the pocket, nothing that their brokerage can do, right? Essentially, we felt like there should be a bigger accountability piece involved in that type of situation, because obviously they were using specific vetting tools and this carrier still was able to slip through, right? Not saying that, the vetting tools don't do a great job or the data provided is inaccurate, but maybe the processes that are in place for specific brokerages, could miss that, or there could be, little intricacies involved, that corners are cut, things that are missed, and then these losses are ultimately happening at a very alarming rate, right? So, what we kind of looked at and did the research, I'm a big analytical person. I don't sugarcoat things. Like, I'm very simply put, it's, fraud was up last year 400% in total, right? So I look at all of the data that's being provided, all the new technology that's out there, tech this, tech that, all these different companies coming out with stuff, yet that number is still rising. So if it was really working, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I always ask this question to everybody I talk to, if people were really moving the needle in the fraud, shouldn't that number be going down, Pedro?
Oh, I mean, obviously.
Right. Yeah, it's the obvious answer. So when we looked at it, we dove very deep into why it could be happening, and we decided to then take the decision ultimately off of brokerages, off of specific people that might not necessarily know what to look for when it comes to vetting, know what to look for when it comes to compliance, things along that nature, and put it in the hands of a team, a partnership that is an expert at doing it and providing you the best decision possible. So, as you mentioned, I went on John's podcast. It was actually him and Jeff Dickinson, which I'm sure you know him as well.
Oh man, I don't hang out with that guy. He'll give you a bad reputation.
So, and I felt the same way the first time I talked to John. Just fucking did not feel that way.
Oh yeah, ditto about John. Yeah.
But both great guys. Obviously, they had me on the podcast. I think first time it was about 5 or 6 months ago. And, what I basically asked them, I was like, okay, you guys are fraud experts, right? You guys know what to look for on a day-to-day basis. If you two, John and Jeff, I asked them, I said, if you two were the people that did the vetting for every single brokerage out there, for every single carrier, for every single load, do you think fraud would be up 400% year over year? And they both looked at me, kind of laughed, right, and said no, because they know what to look for. They know the processes. They have the SOPs. They know what to do. So it's basically just like, any type of, analogy that you want to put with experts, right? Do you trust yourself to make, to score a PK in the World Cup, or would you rather have Messi doing it? We'll go back to the soccer topic, right? So putting the experts in place on a load per load, carrier per carrier basis. So what FlexShield offers is a team of experts on your behalf, on the brokerage, on the carrier, to just take the hands-free approach to vetting. You send us who you want to vet. We take care of the whole entire process for you. We shoot you back a decision. Nothing very difficult to read, right? Green, red, approved, declined. Anybody can see it. It's not review this, look at this, look at this, look at this. We're doing all that for our customers and just saying green light, red light, and then we ultimately take care of the accountability, right? So I know you mentioned it earlier, but probably the biggest piece of FlexShield is just because we've been there, we've gotten hit, right? We've been in those shoes. We don't want it to happen to anybody else, and we want to do anything in our power to prevent them from losing money. So we feel like our SOP in place prevents that. And if we fail, we provide a warranty to our decision. So we're saying, hey, if we give you an approval, they scam you, double broker, identity theft was an impersonation, a fictitious pickup, they forged a document, it ended up costing you money, we would be the ones to pay for that loss. So we are more of the easiest way to describe this is we're a partner in this vetting and then a compliance piece as well, which I know we're going to get into. Instead of just, here's more data, you figure it out. And, you might have 10 people moving loads. You can't really show what person 1 is doing compared to what person 10 is doing, right? And person 5 can't find a truck for their load tomorrow, tight capacity, whatever it may be, right? And they just look completely past the red flags and move it because they're not the ones accountable, right? So we take that give that peace of mind to our customers, knowing that every single carrier that comes through their system, every single load is going to be moved with somebody that's gotten the full check possible from our analyst team. If that makes sense.
No, bro. Tracking 100% of it. I like it, dude. It's good. Mike and I'm about to block Mike on my damn cell phone. He calls me on my email. He emails me so much, but no, I've talked to I'm only talking shit because I know he can hear me right over there on the screen.
He's not allowed to talk back either. That was the one instruction, right?
Yeah.
Don't
you just sit there and take it. All right. So anyway, Mike and I've talked a lot, and we've talked, I've done my research stuff in you guys, and I like it, I do. I respect what you guys do. I obviously I wouldn't if I wouldn't have you on here if I didn't. Right. Here's my question, man. I'm gonna hit you with the hard one first, Gianluca, because we talked about this behind stage, and I think this is a really good one. So, you say you and your boy, he had a freight brokerage, all had already worked together doing some factoring stuff, had a little company going, so all that stuff. But what does that make you, the person or the people, to solve this problem? Why do you guys feel that you were the ones that needed to step up? I understood he got messed over, but y'all could just move on. You know what I mean? So what is it about this that is so damn pressing for you, and you guys feel like your brains and your method, and you were the ones to put a real thumb on this and press this problem down to the ground?
It's a great question. It really is. And pretty much what happens, and me and James are pretty similar people when it comes to, how we live our lives. And when he got hit, you can see it in his eyes. Why did this happen to me? Why couldn't I prevent this? Right. Because, super smart guy, they've done everything correctly, right? They feel like they got the right process in place, and the scammers are just smarter than us, essentially. That's just how it works. They know what they're doing. Right. So when this happened to him, we're sitting in his office and he's sitting there. He's like, why am I getting hit with money? Why am I losing money that, we earned, right? For something that we feel like we did correctly and kind of get blindsided by. Fraud is something, if anybody's experienced fraud, whether it's in freight or in anything, right? There's a lot of people that get hit by just regular fraud, money fraud, bank fraud, whatever it may be on a day-to-day basis. You kind of feel like, you kind of feel stupid in a way, but also why did this happen and how can we prevent it, right? And we're not ones to just sit back and let this happen to other people, because it comes down to, do we want other brokerages losing money just like that out of nowhere when they've built this? His brokerage has been around for 3.5 years. They've built it up. They're growing. And then all of a sudden, one hit could be detrimental to a brokerage, right? It could have been a lot more than 17 grand, right? That's just double brokering. What if that load got stolen? It could have been hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? These are things that brokerages, whether small or large, should not be dealing with on a day-to-day basis, right? And the number one thing that made me so, passionate about this is the money aspect of it. It's why are people losing money that they earn, right? But it's also why is it happening so much? Why is this a huge problem? Why, when you talk to anybody in freight, and this is my biggest pet peeve, you talk to anybody in freight about freight fraud, and everybody always goes, it's part of our industry, it's always going to be. I think you mentioned it in the intro, right? We hear it. That everybody says it. To me, it's why? Why does it have to be part of our industry? Why does it have to be so, what's the word I'm looking for? Does it have to be so prominent in the industry? Why can't somebody could put a stamp on it and say, okay, this is what needs to be done? And as I mentioned, what we feel like is actually moving the needle is getting into the thick of it, right? Getting into the grounds, actually making phone calls to these carriers, our analyst team actually making phone calls, doing identity verifications, diving deep into the load per load, because data can only be provided. The data that's provided can be altered at any given second, and it also could be inaccurate, right? So FMCSA gets hacked all the time. There's impersonations, there's email hacks, there's identity, there's all of these things happen on a day-to-day basis. And there's a statistic that 70 to 90% of cargo thefts actually start from carrier email impersonations, from actual identity theft situation, hacking, right? So and also 80% of fraud starts before the load moves, which means that in our scenario, a lot of people go, okay, they think cargo theft is people just stealing trucks off the side of the road. No, it's starting before on the vetting process, right? So what is not in place that can prevent this? Because in our opinion, that's a huge number. That should never be a thing, right? Are you going to prevent every single fraud that's out there? Absolutely not, right? Are we going to pay out warranties on our site, on our system? Absolutely. Have we paid a warranty yet? No. To answer your question, because
that's good.
Our process works. We know it works. However, it could happen, and we know it can happen. But at the end of the day, we want to hold the accountability piece, because we want people to know that we're here with them rather than just, here, you figure it out. Because obviously it's not working, right? Definition of insanity, trying something over and over again, expecting a new result, right? So fraud's a huge topic, and it's something that I believe personally, and if you can't hear it in my voice, it kind of pisses me off on a day-to-day basis, but it's something that we really feel like we can move the needle by actually putting the work in, right? Putting the work in, having a human team, right? We're not a tech company. We are a partnership. We're a human partnership. We're an outsourced vetting. We're an outsourced compliance team for our customers, because we feel like that's what's going to move the needle. If that answers your question, if it doesn't, I can go on.
It doesn't. No, I'm joking. Yeah, man. I hear the passion and stuff in your when you talk about it, Gianluca, and like I totally understand your anger with it, man. Like I hate it simply because it's like I just hate thieves. I don't know, like, what I mean? Like, thieves are just like the lowest of the low. Like, you're taking from someone that has worked for the shit that they got, and you are not deserving of it and have no right to it. So, yeah, man, it touches every button on me too, because that's just simply what it comes down to. And you're stealing from multiple people, man. They're stealing from the broker, they're stealing from the shipper, they're stealing from the carrier that they impersonated. Like, everyone is being harmed here. You know what I mean? And the shitty thing about this situation is, unlike, a typical theft, Gianluca, if I walked into your office right now and swapped ran off with every PC that you have in there, you could call the popo and they'd come and throw me in silver bracelets and I'd be off to the clink. But with this, how often does that happen? Even when you do figure it out, sometimes you're still screwed. You know what I mean? You're still screwed. You don't get the freight back. You don't get the money back. You have an answer to your question, which, like, I mean, in most scenarios would probably be good enough, but in this one, obviously it's not. You know what I mean? And it creates a big deal, especially as far as like future business, because I don't have access to y'all's platform, so I don't know if y'all do this, but you can tell me after I say this. But most of the vetting platforms out there, like if I give you a certain MC, you'll say, hey, like, this is good, but just so you know, someone has impersonated them in the past, or they've had an issue in the past. And even though you're saying that's good, that still puts me on alert. You know what I mean? I'm probably calling them a little bit more than I usually would. And, my blood pressure's a little elevated dealing with them. You know what I'm saying? Or I may just say, Gianluca, I know that you guys said that they're cool, but I just don't like the fact that they've got past problems. I'm going to pass. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's crazy, man.
No, absolutely. And another thing too is what what we try to focus on is we don't want to lose. We're one with the carriers too, right? Because a lot of these platforms, they just go for the brokers, right? But we want to work with carriers as well. And there's a lot of broker fraud out there. There's a lot of MCs that are being sold, and people on paper look fantastic, and then they're just being impersonated, and they don't even know what's going on because they sold it and it's gone, right? So, the broker fraud is another topic, which we help carriers to prevent that and to vet them as well. But we also don't want to lose the overall, like the ability for carriers to be able to move loads as well. Like they're like, different reports that could be out there of these carriers make them look bad, right? We want to make sure that the carriers are ultimately still able to move the loads with brokers. They're the word I'm looking for. They
don't ask me. I got a brain injury, so don't ask me.
Carrier reputation, right? So, like you said, their reputation should not be, okay, they got hacked, right? Was it their fault? Probably not, right? Could they have maybe had a little bit different of a security protocol? Who knows, right? But if they get hacked, it's not their issue. Are we going to decline somebody that got hacked that's still a solid carrier? No, we put them into a conditional status, say, hey, this carrier has been impersonated in the past, has been hacked. Here's the name and the number of the person that's doing it. Only book loads, and then we give it with the actual owner's name, number, and everything as well. Because just because they got hacked shouldn't mean one of our customers sees decline and then immediately doesn't move the load with them. We don't want the reputation to be ruined for one situation that happened, right? But we also need to let our customers know, hey, they have been hacked, so be wary, right? They're a lot more susceptible to being hacked than somebody that hasn't. So, that's another thing that we really work with is we want to work with the carriers to make sure that good carriers are working with good brokers and everybody's legitimate and things are going well on our platform. And we think we do a good job of doing that with carriers as well. So a little bit, like I said, it's at a high level. It's just designed to take, the process away from our customers, but also to make sure that we can give the best information possible to everybody too.
Yeah, I do. Great. I love hearing that. And, a big thing with you guys is this human touch that y'all have, man. And, I really, really like that. And I feel that's something that really makes you guys stand out. And I want to continue that here in a minute. But before I do, got to take a quick commercial break, show some love, pay some bills. Got to make sure we keep the lights on. 1, 2, 3 load board. My good friends.
Brokers, if you're still relying on legacy load boards, you're moving at yesterday's pace. 123 Load Board is built on agility and speed to get freight moving faster. With tools like automated load posting and truck matching, it's like switching from a pack mule to a cheetah. Discover a better way to move freight at 123loadboard.com or call 877-875-5301. Use the codes at the bottom of your screen for a discount.
All right, love it. 123 Load Board, broker, carrier, shippers. Make sure you go hit them up. A lot of wonderful things going on there. Just talked to Caramello, their VP of sales today, right before the show. Matter of fact, he just got out of a meeting with another partnership that they're trying to lock down to bring more value to their brand. So go do business with them. Make sure y'all use code 123Lounge or B123 Lounge, and you get yourself 20% off monthly and annual subscriptions. All right, Gianluca, back to it, bro. The human. All right, so what was so important about that part of it, man? The human part, because you and I talked about this backstage, man. Like, most of these folks, it's not. They're just fucking pulling data from FMCSA, all the shit that we can see, they just packet it up in a fancy little thing, put it on your screen and charge $100 whatever bucks a month for it. You know what I mean? So I really feel that is something that puts you guys as a standout, and would like to hear from you, man. Like, why do you feel that is such an important criteria to your business in the process?
Yeah, and I would say it's the most important part of our process, right? We have a good analyst team. Michelle leads it up. Shout out Michelle, she's fantastic. Essentially, there's and you know this, and anybody that is seen fraud in the past or that's been in this industry for a while, there's a lot of intuition involved in hiring carriers and hiring brokers. There is a certain amount of knowledge that you need and a little bit of intuition to know who you're talking to and kind of get that little sixth sense, ask specific questions, things that a data point cannot do, right? So, the human piece of this is like, okay, just to give you, like I said, it's the expert the expert analysis of it, right? Because John Kenter and Jeff Dickinson are better freight fraud experts than us, right? They've been doing it for 40, 50 years, however it may be, right? I won't age them.
Jeff helped build the pyramids, just so you know.
Exactly. So would he do a better job of vetting than a broker that just started right out of college to move loads and has no idea what the hell he's looking at? Yes, there's no doubt in my mind, right? Should they be able to do a better job, right? That's the idea of having the human to look at that data and perform and provide the decision rather than them having to do it. That was the main idea, right? But then the intuition piece, because every single check that's sent to us, to our team, gets an actual verification call directly to that carrier. So then now our analyst team is dialing right away, calling that carrier you're trying to vet or that broker you're trying to vet, saying, hey, this, and this. We're verifying the identity. We're giving you a confirmed contact. And we're making sure you know that person actually is who they say they are and calling from where they're saying they're calling, so on and so forth, right? So that alone is funny, because you would think that's such a simple thing for most brokerages or most carriers to do, is pick up the phone and call. 80% of loads right now are booked through email only. So
we do it.
And
even after we'd use you, we still fucking call and talk to them. Even after we would use your program, that's part of our process.
That's good. And that's how it should be, right? That's what ultimately drives us. However, it's not happening across the country.
100%. 100%. They don't want to take that 30 seconds, Gianluca.
Yeah, exactly. They want it fast. Everybody wants quick, which in reality is understandable, because stuff falls off. Loads need to be booked. Trucks are going to fall off. That's just how it's going to work, right? That's how this industry moves. However, that's what leads to high fraud exposure. Like I said, if it's one of those situations, you got to find a truck before the load tomorrow, or 5 hours from now, can't find anybody. The scammers are targeting that. They know who to call, when to call, the tight capacities. They know newer brokerages to call, the newer people that are booking loads, the newer dispatchers. They target that. It's incredible. It's smart, right? Because they know those people are more than likely going to mess up. They're more than likely going to cut the corners, or they're more than likely going to say, I need to get paid on this one. This carrier, they don't look that good, but I'm going to get paid on this one. This is, I'm making a margin on this one, right? That's the problem. That's the main issue, is the speed. However, with FlexShield, we don't sacrifice that speed. When I asked John and Jeff how long it should take to properly vet a carrier, they both said, 45 minutes. And then if you ask any brokerage around the country if it should take 45 minutes to vet a carrier, they're all going to laugh, because there's no way loads are going to be booked in that time.
Hold on. Q. Because I'm laughing too.
And we kind of laughed when they said that too, because we get it. Like, it's just not feasible. However, what we decided to build with our platform, like I said, this is where the technology and the AI comes in, right? Is pulling 30 to 45 minutes worth of data and comprising it into an easier to read profile for our analyst team to then make the call, look at the red flags, ask the right questions, and deliver a decision. And our average time right now is going down, by the way. It's 4.5 minutes to deliver a decision.
Damn, that's nice, bro. That's nice.
Yeah. So that's one of, one of our bigger topics is trying to make that number lower and lower with not, losing and sacrificing or, having to worry about wrong decisions. Because at the end of the day, the right decision is better than the fast decision.
Yeah. And
that sounded awesome. I'm going to use that a lot. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, right.
Oh, that's good. That Michael, clip that. No. Yeah, man. So I'm not going to give away our process here, because we have our own. It literally is proprietary. Between myself and the leadership team here, I don't know, we've got over 30 years in the business. So, and all of us have seen a lot, done a lot. And, but yeah, we've got a really good system here, but the backbone of our system is humans. So like we use a vetting platform here. And even after that is all checked, we still pick up the phone. We call the driver, the number that they gave us for the driver. And then we call a couple of phone numbers for the company. And we confirm different things with them, you know what I mean, to make sure the process is good. So, and we're fortunate, man. We have not been hit in a very, very long time. knock on wood, but we're solid about it, man. And I laugh about what Jeff and John say, but dude, in reality, our process, fuck, man. If a carrier has their stuff together, 20 minutes, 15 maybe. You know what I mean? And most of that is laid on the carrier, because like I said, we've got several steps. We're not an easy company to do business with, but we're trying to protect not just us, we're trying to protect the carrier too. You know what I mean? Because like, you know, I mean, we have called and people are like, nope, that's not me, that's not us. You know what I mean? Okay, well, hey, you better start locking your shit down because someone's impersonating you. So, and I think that's an important thing to put out there too, you know, that not all brokers are just looking out for themselves in this freight fraud stuff. You know, like we tell carriers and stuff, man, like if there's potential fraud going on, we tell them where it came from, how we were contacted, the name, the phone number, the email they're using. We give them every bit of information that we can. But yeah, it's that human thing, man, that really makes the difference in stuff, man. But unfortunately it does, dude. It adds to the process of booking freight, bro. I remember when I started brokering in 2020, I think it was 2021, something like that. Dude, you were booking a carrier in 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Shit. I mean, dude, bro, look, that's it. Looks good. Send it. Send it. They got a pulse. Send it. That's it, man. That's ridiculous. Yeah, dude, that's it. That's you're right. It was so easy. And I'll tell you, Gianluca, I don't know how long. You said your buddies had his deal for 3 years. So I don't know if he was in freight during COVID or if you were, or what you're going to think about the comment I'm about to make. And me, Jeff, and John, and a large group of us all feel that the shift here was COVID, bro. You know, like it, not that this didn't go on before COVID, man, but there was just so much freight, dude. And there was so much money being exchanged, and there was everyone online. I'm making $200,000 a month. You know what I mean? Like everyone's just blabbing about all the money there was. And the scammers saw it, man. They saw it quickly, you know, and they saw how weak the industry was. There were no processes, especially in COVID, dude. Could you imagine trying to do this shit right now during COVID, Gianluca? Like trying to tell me I've got to spend 5 minutes to wait to book a truck when I've got 500 loads on the board. You know what I mean? So I feel COVID not only brought more awareness to this, and I think raised alarms and said, hey, we have to fight this, or we've got to take care of this issue and do something about it. But I also think that COVID was the catalyst for where we are now with the level that we're at with this shit. I mean, you said it last year, 400% increase. It's freaking bonkers, dude. I wish my investment portfolio would do a 400% increase.
Why couldn't it be that?
I know, right?
But it's sad though. There's over $1 billion in losses. Like this is not a small amount of money. This isn't a small problem. And I'm glad. And the thing is like everybody's talking about it and talking about it and talking about it and talking about it is good, but only to a certain extent. In my opinion, I mean, there's only so much talking and education that you can provide until you start seeing the numbers aren't getting better. You really need to just get into it. You really need to just do it yourself. And and as I mentioned earlier, that's what we did. That's what we're doing. That's what we're trying to accomplish because, like you said, COVID, obviously during COVID, everything changed really. I mean, it was all in any industry, you know, it doesn't matter what it was. If you weren't making money in COVID, then you weren't really doing a very good job at.
I don't know where you were at.
But ultimately too, the difference as far as like the industries how they go, but that's how it changes, right? So, I mean, is it a huge shift there? Yes. Has it gotten better since? No, obviously. Is it getting better? I hope so. We're not here to not, we're trying to prevent it. I don't care how you do it or what you do. the goal is to just stop this from happening at a very alarming level. It shouldn't happen on a day-to-day, load per load, carrier per carrier basis, right? So yeah. Do I feel like we're moving the needle? I hope so. We are. I feel like since we've been doing this, like I said, haven't had a warranty claim. We've protected our customers, from hundreds of thousands of dollars of losses on a day-to-day basis. We've discovered multiple different scams. I talked to John a month ago about fake factoring company. We discovered a huge fake factoring company called We Win Capital, tied over 20.
I'm sorry.
30 now. So.
Oh my God, that's funny. Oh,
yep.
shit.
I'm sure you heard of them.
No, I haven't, but I sure as hell wouldn't do no business with them. That's for sure.
We win.
That sounds like the LLC from some cheap like melon survey company or something.
Sounds made up, right? Because it is.
Oh my God.
People are getting hit left and right by them, and that's kind of the crazy part about this is there's different scams, there's different schemes, there's things that are happening that nobody really knows what's going on, and at the end of the day, if you don't have somebody looking at it on a day-to-day basis, it's probably going to happen to you, and it's sad to say it, right? It's inevitable at this point, and we're just trying to make sure that it doesn't. So we win capital. If we check out our LinkedIn, we post.
That's funny.
Daily. We post daily about, fraudulent carriers and brokers that we discover on our team, but they 20, I think, no, what is it? Close to 30 now. 30 different carriers that we've tied to them. We've connected 3 different cargo theft situations, 2 directly to this fraudulent factoring company. So it's a huge scheme that's going on, and I think
how does that can you say how it works, Gianluca, like without giving something away? How the fuck does that work? I'm trying to go in my head, like, how does a factoring company,
it's basically,
what is that?
It's basically just a redirection of payment, right? So with a factoring company, so when they do a fake factoring company, they're forging the NOAs, they're then creating, a different, a website, makes everything look legitimate, and it just redirect the payment. So that payment does look good. And then I basically started from QuickPay, right? So, QuickPay was a big fraud scam, red flag. Crazy. People would say, oh, the scammer would say, do you guys do QuickPay? And right when the broker hears that, they go, oh, this is a scam. We don't do QuickPay. So the scammers were, smart, and they said, okay, people are not doing QuickPay anymore. We need to figure something else out.
I know, they ruined that, bro. I used to love QuickPay, to be honest with you.
Sounds like it'd be a really good situation for everybody.
It is. If you don't want to factor, it is.
Yeah, but then it also sounds like it could be a disaster.
It 100% is, especially if you see like, so I don't know if you know this. So if you get set up with me, Gianluca, and I'm going to ask you, hey, do you factor? Who do you bank with? Blah, 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 blah. When you tell me you factor, I'm going to say, hey, give me that. You already said it, NOA. That is called a notice of assignment, ladies and gentlemen. Notice of assignment. That is saying that I, the factoring company, have permission from said carrier to receive payment and disperse payment to them and then invoice you. That's basically what it says. But shit, I lost my whole train of thought there. Oh, anyway, but if you contact me, Gianluca, and you're like, hey, can I do quick pay? You're right. Immediate red flag. Immediate. What is going on here? But if you don't have an NOA or a factoring company, it really doesn't raise so much of a red flag with me. I know, or used to know, a couple guys that they strictly dealt with quick pays. They wouldn't even mess with the broker if a broker didn't do quick pay. Because, it's typically sometimes it's cheaper than factoring. But you're right, man. That's nuts, though. A freight factory. Okay, so hey, on that note, without giving away any company secrets or anything, man, how many like data points are you guys collecting? Where are you pulling data from? And you ain't got to give like exact like sites or whatever, but I'm asking this because knowing John, knowing Jeff, there's been a number of verification, validation, whatever companies that have been out, and they tout this big thing about how great they are, and then they're like, oh, you find out they're just pulling your data from places that are free, things that we could all check, which, I applaud to them and doing stuff that we don't do. But, sometimes the free shit ain't the best shit, and going the easy route ain't the best route. So, are you guys pulling a good amount of data points, checking several different sources, or, are we just talking, FlexShield's going to FMCSA, looking up insurance stuff, and as long as that matches what you send us, we're good?
Great question. And on the internal side, we have our processes that we pull from a significant amount of data points. We still, to our customers, provide full profiles because we feel like giving them the ability to at least see, the FMCSA profiles, the things that you see on the other platforms. It's still, a good amount of information that is always good for our customers to obtain, right? But on the back end, we're looking at multiple different fraud detection sources, so we check our factoring company, so we can cross-match the financials. We can cross-match the domains. We have something that draws in domains and then looks at all that as well. The phone intelligence that we use, so the VoIP detection. We also can tell, we have this little weird, I can't get into too much detail, but like a voice thing that goes into it as well. The open corporations that they may have, things that we can pull in. And all of this data, that's just to name a few, obviously, but all of this is being pulled in, and then that's where the AI really comes in, because I'm not a huge, like I said, not a huge tech AI type guy, but at the end of the day, it is very, very, very useful in certain scenarios. Is when you pull all that data in, is just saying, here, this is red flag, this is red flag, this is red flag, and then our system's kind of cool. It'll say, this is red flag, make sure to ask this, or make sure to verify this, and then our analyst team sees that, makes the call, asks that question, so they can't really miss anything, right? So it's kind of cool. How we built it as far as an actual platform is really cool. But at the end of the day, like I said, it all comes down to that human piece of it, because they still have to be the ones to perform the actual check and to know what they're looking at. Otherwise, it wouldn't work, right? You still have to have an expert look, and you have to know what you're looking at. And like I said, that's bringing in all that data and making sure that our team is seeing it. But on the front end, we don't want our customers to be overwhelmed with all this stuff, because it's our job to do it, not theirs, right? We're trying to take the pressure, we're trying to take the workflow away from them, not give them more to look at, right? So we still provide a good amount of information for them to look at, really, really detailed on our safety side, in the Montgomery and everything. We're very detailed on our safety side. We provide more of a decision. We call it the safety shield. I didn't come up with the name, but FlexShield.
Actually, I want you to continue with that, man. I was going to get into the next. So keep rolling with this, because that is a very important thing. I love where you're going with this conversation.
Yeah. So the safety concept is pretty interesting too, because there's a lot of safety data that the FMCSA provides, and realistically, there's a lot that goes into it, but it's a very fluid situation, with the Supreme Court ruling. Nobody really knows what's going on as far as what is looked at a little bit harder than other things, right? But we've kind of built into what we feel like is maybe a little bit more like the parameters of things are a little bit heavier on, crashes comparative to, vehicle maintenance, whatever it may be, right? Just to give you an example. So what we do in our safety shield on the profiles is we give a low risk, elevated risk, and a high risk, so that our customers can see it more of like in a green, orange, red type of scenario, instead of having to guess, right? We're trying to take the decisions off of our customers to give a little bit more of a clear cut look, right? So when it says low risk, it'll say a summary of why it's low risk. It'll give the crashes, the violations. It'll give all of the breakdown of everything. And then we do it based off of percentages, because some carriers have more trucks, some have less, and then obviously the percentages can be skewed. So we break that down into a profile, green, orange, red, a lot easier to read, and we provide that on every single carrier as well. And we feel like that's a huge, important piece to it. But from our compliance aspect, this is where we turn into an outsourced compliance team. Every single check that's submitted to FlexShield goes into a carrier network on our FlexShield site on their dashboard, and you can actually add internal notes on every single carrier that you moved with, and then you can generate a full PDF of that carrier with all of the who, what, where, when, why situations. It timestamps it for you so that you can have a defensible carrier approval process, which is obviously what they're looking for from this Supreme Court ruling. So they talk a lot about timestamping. They talk a lot about documentation. They talk a lot about defensibility. So we actually provide that for every single check that's submitted to us, and we make it a lot easier for them to download the PDF, put it into their TMS, whatever it may be, so that everything can be documented from step one until the end of it too.
I love that, dude. That's good stuff. That Montgomery thing, and I don't know the name of the case, but in that recent one that we have here in Texas, where they held, C.H. Robinson liable, even though C.H. did their checks, everything checked out, blah, 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 blah. Really shaking things up, man. These nuclear verdicts, as they're calling them, hundreds of millions of dollars, are really, really shaking things up, man. And it's creating a fear in the industry. You're constantly worried about who you're doing business with, and that sucks. You know what I mean? And I'll give my point on this, Gianluca, is no love that I have for C.H. Robinson. But you look at a carrier, man, and they could look perfect, dude. Everything's great. They don't have any freaking crashes, nothing, blah, blah, blah. Just, gold star. And, man, you just so happen to get that driver that, is having an off day or, whatever the thing is, decides, man, this is, going through a divorce or losing my kid, whatever it is. And this is the day that is going to be the day to create havoc. And, right. And no matter what you've done, you're held liable for that shit. And I know that's not something you guys take in, but I really feel the precedent that these courts are setting are not good. And, I know it's a whole, jury of your peers, people and on this stuff, but, let's be honest, this isn't 12 damn people that are truck drivers, freight brokers, logistic folks that understand how this industry works and the things that go into it. And I feel like things like this, yeah, we're creating laws and making change that needs to happen so we can get bad people off the road, but also think that we're punishing people and we're setting things in place that are just a jump to conclusion out of simple fear. You know what I mean? Especially right now, everyone's seeing everything in the news. Oh, truck driver kills 4 people. Truck driver injures 50 people. You know what I mean? It's just every freaking where. So it sucks as I feel like they're painting our industry as an industry full of reckless, dangerous people that have no care for society or the motoring public, as long as freight's moved and someone puts $1 in their pocket. So yeah, I know that's not something you guys do, but you brought it up and I know it's a serious thing, or you guys wouldn't have the shield that you have in place. You know what I mean? The safety shield that you have in place, to put that to, help protect yourselves and protect the people that do business with you. So.
Yeah. And I agree 100% with you, but I also think it's not one of those situations where brokers should be panicking either. I feel like it's definitely something that needs to be talked about. It's definitely something that's going to be a hot topic right now, obviously with everything that's gone on with it. However, what they pretty much talk about is as long as you were negligent, right? As long as you did the right process, as long as you documented everything and have everything correctly done from the point you hired them to the point the load was moved, then there really isn't a reason to panic, right? So, we could provide the data, and FlexShield does a great job of providing the data and giving them the documentation process, because we know it's super valuable. We know it's super important, but we also feel like we shouldn't be, it's a fluid Supreme Court ruling, by the way. Everything seems to be changing. Nothing is really set in stone. They're not telling us what's better than most, whatever it may be, right? And we feel like that fluidity is going to change things. It's going to make sure that we have to alter our way of looking at it. But until it does, this is what we feel is the best way to actually have what you need, knock on wood, if you were liable or sued for something of this nature. So, at the end of the day, if something were to happen, it's all going to be a hearsay type of situation if you don't have documentation, right? If you hire a carrier and you go to court because you got sued that you hired a wrong carrier or whatever it may be, and the judge goes, okay, what did you guys do? And you say, oh, we looked at a vetting tool. Okay, when did you look at that vetting tool? We looked at it on this day. Okay, can you tell me, what you looked at, or can you show me that you have proof that you looked at it that day? Be like, well, no, right? Because our job was just to look at the tool, move the load, and that's just standard protocol. That's not going to hold up. You could say you did everything, hearsay situation in court, right? However, since you're submitting the check directly to FlexShield and there's a team doing it on your behalf, and then it's documented and say, okay, check was submitted here, safety was updated here, the report was generated today, here's what was looked at, here's what the carrier's information, here are the internal notes the broker left. if you were to be sued for a crash and you have all that documentation, I'm not going to say with for sure certainty that you're going to be okay, but you're probably going to be okay. If you have all that documented, the court's going to look at it and go, oh, wow, they had a document, they had timestamp, they had this, they had this, they had this. They did a good job of feeling like they hired the right carrier, and that's what the value of the documentation provides. But you can't have this documentation unless you have an SOP in place and you have a team doing everything the same way, the right time, and that's what FlexShield provides. So we can give that to our customers on a, like I said, carrier, load per load basis, right? Things change on a day-to-day, and we're there to make sure that our customers are protected by it as well.
Man, more good stuff. Man, you guys have done the stuff. You guys have done the research. I guess it helps that you have a shady freight broker on the team. You know them brokers, man. They're all
it definitely helps, but it's also
it does. I agree.
Office here, so we see it from a day-to-day basis, right? So it's like,
I think that's good though, Gianluca, that you do, man. Like we talked about this backstage, bro. A lot of these people come into this industry, they don't know shit about it. They don't talk to anyone about it. They're just like, oh, I can solve this problem, air quotes, and make money off of it, and it's another thing that I applaud you for, man. And I can see that you guys doing it different because your business is a direct effect from, how can I say this? Your business is a direct effect from what the problem of what you're trying to solve. You know what I mean? And in that you actively have members on your team, a part of the company that still are in the trenches, that are able to see the things unfolding real time, the new scams, the stuff that's going on, and that's really good. You're not having to wait to hear about it in the news or someone to be a victim of it and bring it to your attention. You have someone, I guess a live time focus group, you know what I mean? So
proactive, not reactive.
Yeah, brother. All right. So I got a few more things I want to get to. I know we want to talk about this compliance report, and then I want to get your take on another little news story. But before I do that, I guess the last thing that question, I guess, say that I have or interest that I have is, a lot of this stuff, man, this fraud verification, fraud fighting, theft prevention, everyone looks at it from the broker perspective, and it seems as if our conversation a lot has really been today has kind of seemed like it's been centered around that, but it really hasn't. So I want to make sure that we can set apart and put a distinction to the fact that you guys are helping everyone that is involved in the freight transaction, the broker, the carrier, the shipper. So we've given a lot of talking points about the broker perspective and some stuff that we should look out, but what does this look like for you guys and your customers on the other side of this that are the carriers and the shippers? How are you helping them? Is the process any different? Run me through that stuff, Gianluca.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because, well, I mean, you can't really blame the industry because the majority of the fraud does come, like percentage-wise, does come from the carrier side, right?
Yeah.
The broker, it's not something that's it's just a harsh reality of it. It's just realistic. So, from carrier vetting is also so behind. Most carriers don't do any vetting, or they just rely on the factoring company to deliver them the decision on that broker, and that's pretty much it. And it really is just one of those situations where it's not very detailed, and that's just how it's always been. And there's not too many carriers that are willing to have a different type of vetting tool or to pay for something that they don't feel like they really need. However, the scams, like we talked about, the schemes, they evolve, and broker fraud is a huge thing that's been going on. And the number one thing that we see on the broker side of things is if they, like I mentioned earlier, if they sell the MC and then it goes dormant, but then they can buy it out, they buy out the email, and then the scammers just basically look like they're that MC, right? It's just impersonation. That's all it is. But the people that sold that MC have no idea, or maybe they do and they just don't give a shit, right? So, they probably paid them $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 to sell it, and then they took over the MC, and that fraud right there is what causes a lot of the issues, on the double brokering and all those different types of things. So From the carrier side, yeah, it's very similar how our dashboard is utilized for a carrier and a broker. You just submit the MC or DOT over to us, and then we take care of it. But we do pull a couple different data points for brokers, right? We look at like the bond, obviously, to make sure that all that is taken care of. And then we actually do a deeper identity check. The domain's a big one on the broker side, because typically brokers do have, domain ages and things that really dive in, because carriers have a lot of Gmails and Yahoos and things that are tough to look into. But from the broker side, typically they have some sort of company domain, right? So those things can be hacked. And those actually get hacked a little bit easier sometimes as well. So it's one of those situations where we want to also protect carriers to know that they're moving with brokers that are also legitimate and should be working with them. That's all it really comes down to, is both sides of the story, right?
Yeah. And just want to make sure, get to that distinction, man. Because a lot of this industry, period, is very centered around the broker. Which is, I get it, but it's so weird at the same time to me, because it's like, man, the brokers and carriers kind of have the same problems. In a lot of aspects, they really do. You have a lot of the same issues and shit, man. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of these tools could be equally used as both, and everyone needs the help, right? You know what I mean? Even outside of this industry, you know what I mean? If you're a nail salon, you don't want to be a victim of fraud or any type of theft or any of that stuff. You know what I mean? You want to protect yourself. So I think it's just good, man, that you guys have that part of your thing, and it is an active, equal part of your business that you focus on, to make sure that you're serving everyone in the industry. Because it does, dude. We talk about how a lot of it seems to come from the broker, but that's I wouldn't even say that's true, because you just said it. To get access to the carrier, usually they're portraying themselves, the scammers portraying themselves initially as a broker.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And they're buying a broker MC, saying, I've got freight, I've got this, and and then that's their way in, or they buy the carrier MC or whatever it is. So, I wouldn't say that brokers are the root cause of it. I think it is a two-part root. It is the broker and the carrier. So love it. All right, let's talk about. I would save my news thing for last, because that'll just be a little fun thing we could just talk about. You guys have some type of compliance thing that we were talking about. There's this pretty intriguing that we want to share. Do you need to share your screen, Gianluca?
Not really. Basically how I explained it. It's gonna roll out a full PDF for every single carrier. Provide you with the safety assessment. Provide you with the ability to put internal notes in there, like I mentioned. Show with the carrier insurance, verified contacts, everything that goes into what we're looking at to be able to give you that documented process. So. It's basically just making sure you have something on paper, being able to download it, put it in the TMS. And then actually one thing that I want to kind of tell us what we're working on right now, maybe launch it on the show, if you don't mind, is another thing we've been building is our Chrome extension. So, this is, a lot of people probably aren't going to be excited about it as I am, because we built it, but the Chrome extension is going to be huge, because you'll be able to actually directly work like on a side panel on your Chrome within a load board, within a TMS system, wherever you're at, to be able to just quickly submit a check over to FlexShield by right-clicking on the DOT number.
That's cool, bro.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. But also then it'll populate right on the side panel there to populate the compliance report in turn, which you can then just drag and drop right into your TMS. So the workflow is going to... Yeah, it's going to be completely updated. And everybody that's working within FlexShield right now, that's the one thing that a lot of people ask about, because, we're trying to, integrate. We're still a new company. We're trying to get integrations across the board. We're trying to do all that. But however, this to me is kind of like a best case scenario, because you can literally utilize it with whatever platform that you want to. Quick right click, check with FlexShield, submits it over to us. We go through it. It's all on your panel right there. You could be doing whatever else you need to do on the load. And then right when it comes back with a decision approved, generate compliance report, generates it, downloads it, drag it, TMS, you're done. So it's like a one-stop shop kind of situation now with this Chrome extension. So we're pretty excited about it. It's actually going to launch. I don't want to give exact date. I thought it was going to be on Friday, but it might be Monday. So our customers are going to be happy about that, because a lot of things, different platforms, you have to go over to the website or the actual platform, right? Which is what we're doing right now. And, before we came up with this, we didn't really feel like there's a way out of it, but this workflow wise is going to change things completely for our customers. And I'm really excited to launch it too. So
that's pretty dope, bro.
Yeah.
It's
gonna be cool.
Oh, that is pretty cool. I like that. And because you're right, dude. I mean, dude, I have 3 screens and I have fucking multiple tabs open on every single one.
Yep.
So I like it. I'm about anything that makes a workflow more effective, especially more efficient, man. I'm all about that.
We were testing it with the brokerage here with the guys, and then, they got their screens obviously, but then, they put on the side panel. They're on their load board, right? Whether it be 1, 2, 3 load board, shout out, right? Or any other load board that's out there. It's basically they're looking, they get the load, they see the DOT, right click, check with FlexShield, it goes over, they don't have to do anything. Like
Love it. I like that.
It makes it's really cool. I really think this is a game changer for what we're doing, and I'm excited to launch it to our current customers. And then also it just makes, one less thing to do. There's 10,000 things to do, it feels like, when you're moving that load. One less thing to worry about. If you trust us, which you do, you don't have to worry about the vetting. You just send it over to us. We do it. It comes back. You see it. You see confirmed contact. They work there. Great. Good to go. You see it comes back declined. Don't use them. That's basically what it comes down to. We feel like this can be a game changer. I'm actually really excited about that. And then we're also got something that I can't really bring up, but I'll tease a little bit, that we're launching. We're trying to work into the actual cargo theft side of things too. So
cool.
Yeah, so that's going to be probably something that's a little bit later on in the process. But this Chrome extension thing should be ready to go by early next week, and we're really pumped about it.
Yeah, that's pretty dope, man. You're pretty fortunate, dude, to to have James, actively still broken, man. Broken. Yeah, James, you're broken. Brokering.
Boss, he might be broken now.
We're not going to get into James's mental state on the show, okay? No, yeah. You're fortunate, man, to have someone that's involved with your company that also, like, again, still kind of in the trenches, man. Not only is he giving you feedback of things he's seeing and stuff going on and whatever, but when you guys roll out new things like this, have new ideas, you've got a guinea pig, a test monkey, right there, man, to give you real-time feedback and help you really critique these things before you roll them out to your customers and stuff. So that's good, man.
We feel like it's a huge thing too, because like, even when it's basically what we're providing to our customer is our customer, right? So what are they seeing on a day-to-day basis that our customers that are across the country are seeing? We can't talk to them on a day-to-day basis, right? They're not going to tell us every single little thing, but what they see in the office here, we can implement onto our platform, because they're the ones they're the customer, right? They're what they want. We're trying to give the customer the ease of use to what we can provide. We always ask our customers all the time, anything you want us to add to this, like, just tell us, right? And the number one thing everyone talked about was having kind of like an easier workflow, not having to go to the platform, trying to integrate things like that. So, we're just trying to make it as easy as possible to use, because that's the goal, is to make this easier and a lot more. The peace of mind word the phrase comes to mind every single time, because if I'm an owner of a company, which James, you can ask him, he has a lot more peace of mind knowing now that every single carrier of all of his broker agents, every single person out there, every single carrier gets the same look every single time. So it takes so much stress sometimes off of a potential loss because of a human error or an inexperienced decision, right? So that's kind of the cool part about what I feel like is the biggest value provide. And then obviously we have our compliance value, and we have our warranty, which nobody else is going to put their money where their mouth is, saying, hey, this decision is good. We're willing to put our money behind it. So we just feel like it's going to offer a lot of value to a lot of people out there.
Yeah, I feel it is too, bro. I do too. I like it, man. Like everything you guys got going on, Gianluca. Love the way you got your stuff set up, man. The way you guys really got your ear to the ground. You're not just out there fucking throwing darts at the dartboard, taking a guess of what's going on in the industry. You got someone in your company active and stuff that's doing things. And you got people out there like Mike sending 50 freaking emails a day. I'm like,
Hey, you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, man. No, you do. I love it. And again, even though I don't have access to y'all's platform, been over y'all's website, y'all have screenshots of the way y'all's dashboard and stuff looks, dude. And like I said, the way you simply lay it out, man, is, you said what you say before, green, orange, red, and a lot of your stuff is that way. It's just easy laid out. Applause you guys on that too, because most people don't really understand a lot of this information, Gianluca. They really don't. A lot of brokers, they just don't understand. And that's not talking shit about them. They just, their job isn't fucking safety. It isn't safety data points. It isn't insurance. And like, they don't know what any of that crap means. You know what I mean? They don't know to look at it at a COI and to look for certain coverages. When does it expire? What's the amount? Like, blah, 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 blah. So, you guys making sure you're touching those things and providing that, man. It's good stuff, man. I love the way you guys make it flow simply and easy, put it all together, and it's just easy to digest and make a decision.
Mm-hmm.
I like that a lot. Too many companies make this shit too complicated, man.
Exactly. Nobody needs more complication in this industry.
I know, that's right. It's complicated enough, man. All right, brother. Let's talk about this real quick, dude. I want to talk about this with you right here. I'm going to pull this screen up. So, this came out today. This was from Commercial Carrier Journal, and the article says cargo theft losses skyrocketed in Q2 2026. So the thing that stands out to me about this, Gianluca, is that it even says it right here. Despite the lower incident volume, total estimated cargo losses financially more than doubled year over year. Per this report for Q2 2026, it was $304.6 million, up from $135.7 million the same time last year. And this is across 677 incident reports. That's nuts, Gianluca.
That's an issue.
Yeah. I have my theory though on why it's more.
You go first.
I think it's just simple. I wouldn't say simple. I think a part of it is inflation. Cost of goods have went up over the last year. And I haven't read through all of this yet, but I would be willing to bet. Yep. See, boom, never mind. Fucking here it is right here. I was going to say, I guarantee you that the thieves are starting to evolve. They're getting smarter. They know I can get more money. Yeah, I can get more money for a load. Look at it says it right here. Metals. I can get more money for a load pound for pound of copper than I can get for a pound of freaking sneakers. You know what I mean? So that's my two things. I think cost of things have risen. You know what I mean? And they're getting smarter. They're just stealing more high value goods versus just picking off the low hanging fruit.
That was going to be my response. Obviously, this is the first time I've seen this. That was going to be my response right there. Is they're smarter. They get smarter every day, and every single time we talk about how a scammer is smarter than us, we always say, why couldn't they use it for good?
I know. I know, bro.
Times. And this is sad. Like, this is not good. 304 million. That's just in Q2. So multiply that by 4 and you have your loss for the year estimate, right? So that right there is a huge issue. And yeah, it's sad. I mean, it's just sad. It's something that should not happen. It shouldn't be a part of it. It should not ever be a part of any industry, that amount of loss just based off a fraud incident.
You just got to think, man. Like, that is more than some countries' GDP.
No, it's absurd.
Just fucking think about that, bro. That's crazy.
As I teased earlier, this is what we've seen kind of the numbers of this, and we know that a majority of this comes from, like I said, pre-vetting, right? Majority of these losses come from the actual vetting and identity theft, scams, impersonations. The majority of those losses come from that. So at a high level, we're doing our part in trying to prevent this. Now what we are trying to come up with, and not trying to, but in actively trying to work with is on that cargo theft side. How can we provide a little bit more value to our customers for that as well? So we have something in the works coming soon, and we're trying to expedite it because, as you can see, it should be expedited as it's a huge problem that's just getting worse and worse and worse. But you said it was 120 something million last year Q2. Now it's 300.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
more than double, bro. So like a
100% increase. So, it's not
crazy.
getting any, unfortunately, it's not getting any better. But when I see that, I think, what do we got to do? That's what I'm thinking is, what do we got to do to prevent this? What do we got to go, and what's the process got to look like? And do we have to do anything? Do we have to change anything? Do we have to fix anything? This and this and that. This never happened. However, we feel like our process does a significantly more detailed job than what was provided in the past. And I think I've explained that, obviously with identity verifications and actual humans doing that check for you, it could prevent that. So like I said, are we going to stop it at to the zero? Nope. Can we not have it go up 2x? Hopefully. That should never happen. It's a terrible, that's a large amount of dollars. That's just people's, and that's the shippers too. The shippers are getting, like I said, the shippers are the ones losing the product. Like you mentioned earlier, it's not just the brokers, it's the carriers, it's the shippers. Everybody gets hit in this scenario, right?
Yeah. And then and I mean, it even trickles down to consumers, man. You know what I mean? I mean, dude, let's be honest. A truckload of sugar is a truckload of sugar. I don't care how you look at it, bro. That's a lot of cookies and brownies that ain't being made. All right.
I agree with you, and I want a brownie right now. Actually, that you said
exactly.
That. Sounds really good. Might have to go do one of those after this. Yeah, I actually got this this cookie place right across the street. You've heard of Insomnia Cookies before?
I think so. Yes.
Man, it is. It's a dangerous place, especially when it's like 1:30 in the morning. Probably the worst place you can go to. But my God, they're a great cookie. Mike's just shaking his head. He's not allowed to talk, but he's shaking his head over there. Like, those cookies are great. But
oh man, we got. I'm sure we have one of those. There's a down here in Austin. There's a place that is super crazy. It's called Voodoo Donut, and
I've heard of that.
Yeah, bro, they make some crazy shit, dude. Their donuts are delicious, though, bro.
Really unhealthy stuff.
Yeah, I will have to say, when it comes to cookies, my wife makes the best cookies.
See, that's my issue. I don't have a wife.
Yeah, she does, and they're from scratch, bro. My wife don't do that packaged box shit. Like, it is 100% from scratch. So yeah, she makes the best cookies, man. I'm lucky. Anything I want, my wife can make.
So now I got to go get a cookie and a wife, apparently.
Now, get the cookie, save on the wife part.
The cookie might be a little cheaper, though. I don't.
That's exactly it. The cookie's a little. and if you don't like that, you can just throw it away. You can't do that to your wife.
Another cookie, right?
That's. Yeah. Oh, my wife's gonna beat me. I'm gonna be on the Friday show with a black eye.
I'm not gonna get beaten. I'll tell you that one. You might, though. I'm in the clear.
I am. I'm an abused spouse, man. I keep telling my wife. I keep telling my wife I'm gonna get this shirt I keep seeing on TikTok where it says "My wife beats me," and on the back it says "No, seriously." any married man who claims that he is not assaulted by his wife is a liar. I'm just gonna say that. Women are violent. Women are violent.
That's awesome.
All right, Gianluca. Dude, lovely conversation, man.
Yeah, awesome.
I don't have a time limit, but I mean, me personally, you've touched on everything I wanted to talk about. But do you have anything else you want to touch on?
We've pretty much covered everything. I mean, I would encourage people to go to our website, FlexShieldPro.com, and ultimately just check into it. See if it's something that, if you guys want to see what it looks like, see how we can help out, partnership with you guys, and ultimately that's pretty much it. We covered a lot of topics, really. So
yeah, I think so.
We're excited. Like I said, we're excited about growing and getting better and preventing this, actually moving the needle, and yeah. And I think we're gonna do a good job, and we already are. So.
Hell yeah, man. I agree. I think you guys are doing your part to definitely move the needle, man, and come at things from a little different perspective. Again, I really think the human part is fucking huge, man. I mean, I do not ever do away with that, Gianluca. I'm telling you, I really feel like in my mind, it's just me. To me, that is the number one thing that makes you guys stand out. Like that human thing. I really love that. You know what I mean? The warranty thing, love it too. That's amazing. But that human deal is a great part, you know, because we talk about, man, everyone wants tech. Replace everything with AI and a bot and everything else. So really like that you guys do that, man. That you got some humans there checking stuff out.
That's not going anywhere.
I really hope not, man. Really hope not. So want you to hang with me. Got to do some sponsor breaks and got to give some updates. So hang with me, Gianluca, because I want to talk to you about something backstage. I want to give you, I wouldn't say some advice. I don't know, whatever. I can't think of the word, but I want to give you something backstage. So hang with me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate y'all watching. If you're just now tuning in, please go back, start the show over, and listen to the conversation Gianluca and I had. Wonderful conversation about how they're doing their part to fight freight fraud, and coming up, fight freight theft. Gianluca and his team, they got themselves a pretty innovative approach to it, keeping that human interaction into it, offering a warranty for, you know, put their money where their mouth is, saying, hey, if we say this person's good and they're not, we're going to take care of this for you. And just doing what they're doing, man. You know, being involved in the industry, not just being tech bros, keeping their ear to the ground, nose to the grindstone, and doing things a little differently. Like Gianluca said, you can go hit them up, FlexShield.com. You can look up all their stuff. Sorry, what?
FlexShieldPro.com.
Sorry, FlexShieldPro.com. You can glance over their stuff. There's a place on there. You can set up an appointment with them, get yourself a demo. All right, let's pay some bills here. Y'all know another humongous issue in the industry is truck parking, right? You know, I mean, even though we've taken a lot of trucks off the road with the ELP stuff, the non-domicile things, still a problem. Not enough place to put all these trucks. Luckily for y'all, we do business with some folks that they solve that problem. So go over there at freightninja.com and look up some of their spots, 60 plus locations across the country. Make sure you use the code Lounge Ninja, get yourself some special rates.
With over 50 locations nationwide and site features like LED lighting, security fences and gates, and of course, assigned spots. Freight Ninja is truck parking done differently. View all of their locations and find out more about the benefits of Freight Ninja at freightninja.com or give them a ring at 844-303-1505. Make sure you use code Lounge Ninja to get special pricing.
Well, got to update that commercial. They're at 65 locations right now. Golly, they move fast. All right, we also talked about factoring on this show, and Gianluca was saying how, you know, factoring companies out there have become a part of the fraud problem, unfortunately. But fortunately for you, we're hooked up with probably the greatest factory company that there is, Mr. Clint Weston and his team. Over 50 years combined experience in the banking industry. They rolled that stuff over into the factoring and funding industry so they could use their expertise to get you paid better, faster, and at a lower rate.
With Sureline Capital, you don't just get their 50 years experience in finance and banking, you get freedom. Sureline lets you choose the invoices you factor so you're in control of your cash flow. Get advances up to 97% of the invoice for immediate expenses, and no early termination fees so you can move on whenever the time is right. Being a business owner is about freedom, and Sureline Capital understands access to your revenue when and how you need it is a vital part of that. Start your path to more control over your money with SurelineCapital.com or call them at 801-605-8822. Make sure you use code SURETHING365 to get your first invoice up to $2,000 for free.
I don't know. Crumble's all right. They're all right. We're all right. I wouldn't say Crumble. Yeah, I don't know. Crumble's okay.
Has he had the insomnia? You got to compare it. Has he had that?
I know. You got to compare it. That's true, man. All right. Done with the sponsor stuff. Let's talk about some updates and things coming up. Tomorrow morning, 8 Central, 9 Eastern, Road Dog Coffee Podcast on the Lounge Media Network. You already know what we're going to do. It's just going to be a bunch of us on screen just talking a bunch of BS, drinking some coffee, getting some work done. So come hang out with us. Let us know what's happening in your day, in your morning, and let's talk trucking and logistics. Friday, Freestyle Friday. We ain't had one in a while. I was going to do one last week. Last week was, well, wasn't technically last week, but last week was going to be the Lounge third birthday party. So 3 years, everybody, 3 years we have been doing the Logistics Lounge here, and it's been a hell of a ride. So I decided not to do it because I just wanted to hang out and do stuff for myself. But this Friday, we're going to hang out. We're just going to do the dang thing. Not much of a celebration, but we are going to talk about it and just have a good old time. So this Friday, 4 Central-ish, 5 Eastern-ish. Make sure you come hang out with us. If you want to join us on screen, just let me know. I will drop you a link. And I think that's all I got. I got nothing else. So as I always say, chunk the deuces, and here comes some beautiful bean footagery.
The views and opinions expressed on this show by its guests are not necessarily those of Lounge Media Group or the show host. So if you sue someone, make sure it's the party responsible for hurting your feelings. Also, grow up, be an adult, and understand not everyone thinks like you. And that's okay.